There's a children's book that serves as a useful parable to this park story. It goes something like this. A king has a daughter he really doesn't want to give up, so he puts her in the tower, and he offers all the men in the kingdom a chance to win her hand in marriage if they can leap up to that window. So all the lads come, and they, have catapults, and they have long jumps, and they build berms, so they get a running start. And of course, each one of them hits the wall, falls down, broken bones. Along comes a tinker, and he says to the king, all I have to do is leap up to that window, and the king says yes. And he says, okay, and he circles the building once, and he circles it again, and he finds a door, and he opens that door, and he finds 100 steps, and he begins to leap, one step at a time. That is the great leap that allows him to marry the daughter and win the kingdom. When the community worked on a park plan that addressed the recreational needs, both active and passive, for this park, to use a phrase from the park's original 13 guiding principles, fiscally prudent that encouraged park-compatible uses, such as a destination resort, conference center, restaurants, and discouraged office and residential housing to pay for park maintenance. It was a prudent way. In another way, it had multiple ways to pay for the park, balancing the ups and downs of the economy's bubbles. While the current park funding plan looks like this, with 90% of the money coming from one source, the community's park plan looks like this, with a series of steps, fiscally prudent to secure funding to pay for the park. Which is better, the giant leap of private housing inside a public park, putting all your eggs in the luxury housing basket, or multiple revenue generators that are publicly accessible, compatible, and appropriate with a public park? Here are some ideas to fund this park without the need for further housing inside its borders. Taxes. Instead of allowing wealthy homeowners who live inside a public park to keep their taxes to green up their own lawns, taking money out of the city's coffers and putting it into a small enclave, their front lawns, why not do what other communities do around the world and frankly around the country? Some use a version of Senator Squadron's Park Increment Recapture Plan. It encourages community building for both the surrounding communities as well as a park. Win-win. It also addresses the fundamental financial truth of this park. That is so important, that the park itself improves the communities that surround it. Another idea comes from one of the most conservative Republican counties in the nation. It is Polk County, Florida. This county is full of lakes and tea partiers. It has beautiful waterfronts and a real aversion to taxes. These lakes are very hard to keep up and keep safe. If you think little boars eating away at our piers are a bad thing, think of 15 miles of alligators living on the shoreline. Okay, I have a random tax bill from one taxpayer, Michael Foley. He lives on Drexel Avenue in Winter Haven. He pays $1,300 per year on his taxes. His bill is itemized. It includes $25 fee for parks. Not one citizen in Polk County is protesting this charge. Not one Republican, not one Tea Partier, not one Democrat. Why? Because the residents understand what it goes for. New York City used to put 1% of its tax revenue into our parks. If we can no longer afford to pay for our parks, then why don't we create a park improvement fund? With a minimal $25 per household, we can generate sufficient funds to pay for all parks. And when you itemize it, people get it. They understand the value they receive from this minor amount of money.